Hello to our second tutorial video, how to set up TAPAS. In this video, I will show you how to set up TAPAS in the IntelliJ IDE environment. So first, what you need to do is you need to clone the repository. You will see the URL over here. Then, of course, you need some other prerequisite requirements to start TAPAS. First thing is you need a PostgreSQL database with PostGIS, at least PostGIS 2 or 2. 3 is better because they have some raster support over here and it's working better. You need the database drivers, you need a functioning Java development kit, and you need some kind of Git binaries in your computers. And of course, if you're using IntelliJ, you need an installed IntelliJ environment. So you see here we already installed an SQL server on our local host, and it contains no database except the default Postgre database and a template GIS database, which came from the PostGIS installation tutorial, which can be found on the internet. So first thing you have to do is you need to clone the repository. This you can do this via IntelliJ, but I will show you how to do it via the command line. So you first clone the repository. Then you see there will be a new folder created named TAPAS created in your current working directory. Right now we have to enter some credentials. And it's downloading all the source codes and needed data from the repository. So this is it for cloning the repository. Now we do some extra data preparation for later on. Mainly, we have to specify later on the password for the tutorial, the password for the database server. This is found in the folder Data Simulations. They have a file called runtime CSV, which holds the credentials. Here you specify your the IP or the name of your host, port, user, and the password. In our tutorial, the password is TAPAS tutorial. You save it, close it. Some backup file. Just get rid of it. Then you start IntelliJ. Next thing you do is you want to import a new file, a new project. You have to browse to your to the folder where you cloned your TAPAS repository, and you just click OK. Then IntelliJ sets up all the projects, finds all the Gradle configurations, and after some seconds or minutes, depending on the speed of your computer, you will have your IntelliJ IDE window. Here you have the project tree, and here you have the Gradle tasks. First thing you want to do is you want to build the whole thing. You just double click on tasks build, and it compiles all the Java files, and it will fetch all the necessary Java files from the Maven repositories specified in the build Gradle KTS script. Yeah, it's finished. So now you have a working version on TAPAS on your computer, and next thing is how to set up the database. To do so, you want to run the installer, but the installer again needs to know where to find your database. So again, you click again, you have to specify it by opening the build Gradle KTS script, you put in this command line arguments, and then you specify, of course, the DB server, which is localhost, then the name of where TAPAS should be installed. I will call it TAPAS. The user, which can create databases, which is in our case the default Postgres user, and again the password. So you update the whole file by clicking on this elephant, and then you can click on Runables Installer. And you see in the command line prompt that it's executing a lot of SQL files. If something went wrong, for instance, you mistyped your password, you will get some nasty errors, and of course, because it won't find valid database connections. And here you can see in pgadmin that all of a sudden the database called TAPAS was created, and it's preparing all the sample data, all the sample function, and all the functions needed in TAPAS, and all the rest, and it finished the whole thing. So now you have the basic database set up with some sample data, and we will show you how to run your first TAPAS simulation using the simulation control. You simply double-click the simulation control. On the first time you start up, you have to specify the credentials files we created a few steps before. So I will navigate to the credential files, and it starts up the IDE. It starts up in German. So if you want to switch to English, you will just change the language by clicking on Sprache and English. Then you have to close the window and restart it. As you see, it remembers your credential file. So what you see here is a button where you can choose the simulation file, and you see a panel where it shows the running servers, and you see a panel where it shows the database, the simulation stored in the database. There's nothing here, nothing here. Why? Because there's no server running and there is no simulation in the database. So next thing we will do, we will start a simulation daemon. Again, the simulation daemon needs to know where to start or where to find these credential files. So there, again, in the build Gradle KTS, there's a command line which actually just passes the directory where you will find this runtime CSV file. And since IntelliJ is working with a current working directory, you can enter a relative path. You will pass some JVM arguments. We will give it some more memory because TAPAS needs a lot of memory to start. So this is everything fine. You just double click the simulation daemon and it starts the simulation daemon. And you see that the server started. You can stop the service by pressing Control-C. If you run from the command line, Control-C is something special in IntelliJ, so it won't work. You have to quit the server by pushing the stop button, and it's waiting for a new simulation. So let's see what happened. Yeah, our new simulation server started. You can start different simulation servers on different computers since TAPAS is able to run on a distributed computer cluster environment to do things faster. So next thing is we add a new simulation here. And again, you can browse to our sample data set. Double click on simulations, there's a test run, and you open this run ref 2010 CSV, which is just a sample data. It's nothing valid. It's just grabs some, it's roughly working on the city of Berlin, but it's very sparse data on the locations due to some legal issues. They're completely synthetic generated, and there will be no valid result coming. It will just show you that TAPAS is running and doing what it should do if and the results would be valid if you provide some proper input. So next thing is you add the simulation. Then there's a new simulation in the simulation information panel. You can click on it and start it. Yeah, it shows you which simulation didn't start, which is none. Also, all simulations started. This is because you can start different simulations at the same time. And yeah, it took 10 seconds to run the whole simulation. You probably noticed that the red squares from ready started and finished. They switched from red to green, and in the background, the simulation daemon loaded a lot of things, fetched some data, and installed all and simulated all what it should do. So basically, Tapas did its first run over here. So where to see the output? So you could press on this button, which will give you, which produce an Excel sheet with some basic informations, and you can open it, and you will see, yeah, you have here, this is the source which gives you the simulation key, which is actually the time when you started the simulation. You'll see here, yeah, it corresponds with the same thing over here, and it produced some output, and you have here some, it's not localized yet, but we're working on it, and you will see here, here's a modal split, public transport is very high. This is because our sample data set is not representative and not valid. It's just some locations randomly distributed over Berlin, and they're so far away that you can just access them via public transport. And yeah, this is it. You successfully started Tapas using IntelliJ. Now you can improve our code, submit all your suggestions, and do whatever you want to do. Thank you for listening.